I've had success with transplants. Now I can do it for her.
Transplant her to what?
I brought her back. She'll live and I'll get her another body. I can make her complete again.
Hey gang, Uncle Todd and Sonny here, and we are dealing with another mad scientist, which we're going to be looking at those types of films for the rest of the month. And here we have one of those great films that we saw all through the 50s and 60s, The Head Transplant. Not the brain, the head, which is kind of odd because the title is The Brain That Wouldn't Die, although the title card at the end is The Head That Wouldn't Die, so take your pick. The film stars popular TV actor Herb Evers, although after this film he changed his name to Jason Evers, which is a little bit more key value. And he starred. He was in a lot of TV shows. I mean, he appeared in Star Trek, The A-Team, Cannon, Banachek, Fantasy Island, all that stuff. Although he did do some genre films besides this one. He was also in The Illustrated Man, Escape from Planet of the Apes, Barracuda, and Basket Case 2, which was his final film. And he also had another starring role in a horror film, Claws, which is about a rampaging grizzly bear. Not as a direct copy of Jaws that the film Grizzly was, more of a Moby Dick style thing. Playing our Jan in the Pan character, as she's affectionately known, thanks to Mr. Science Theater, is Virginia Leith, who was a fairly well-known actress at the time. She had been in Stanley Kubrick's Fear and Desire, as well as the films Black Widow, Violent Saturday, and the adaptation of Ira Levin's A Kiss Before Dying, which starred Robert Wagner. She then, around 1960, retired from film. She got married, and up until almost 69, she stayed out of film or acting until she got a divorce, of which she came back into acting and made a lot of TV appearances, like in Beretta, Starsky and Hutch, Barnaby Jones, and the miniseries Condominium, which was her final role. Now, our third main character, who is the crippled assistant, because you can't be a mad scientist without a deformed assistant, we have Anthony Lapina, who you may not recognize the face. He had a very short-lived on-screen career, only about 6-7 years. But he had a long career dubbing foreign films into English. You could hear his voice in Kurosawa's Rashomon, Hercules Against the Moon Men, Fistful of Dollars, Mario Bava's Lisa and the Dead, Dario Argento's Deep Red and Inferno, Cannibal for Rocks, and the Lou Ferrigno version of Hercules. Well, he had relocated to Italy, so that's why most of his dubbing work was done in Italy, or for Italian films. Anyways, we open our film. Oh, one more thing. Although she quit acting in 1960, this film has a date of 1962. It was filmed in 1959, ran into legal problems, and then getting released until 1962. And Virginia Leith so hated this film, she refused to come back for any, I think it's called AOR, post-recording, so that if you've ever seen the film, that's why her voice seems to change in the beginning from some scenes to the next. Anyways, we open in an operation where the patient dies, but that's not good enough for Bill Courtney, who convinces his father to try things his way.
These electric shocks should stimulate the motor area enough to innervate the heart again. Then he won't need any external stimuli.
Keep away from the motor area. You'll paralyze him for good.
Which would you rather be, paralyzed or dead?
Oh, he's one of those kind of doctors, you know. Think they're God. Yes, most doctors have that problem, but don't be so facetious. Not all doctors are like that. Just the ones in horror films. Anyway, after he successfully revives this patient, his father brings to him, and that's the other surgeon, the concerns that there's some body parts missing from the amputee area. And, well, yeah, he flat out admits he's taking them, he needs them for his experiments with his new compound. Because he believes you're going to be able to transplant limbs and organs like you would parts in a car. And that's what he's been doing up at the country place that they talk about. Well, that's neither here nor there. We have more important things to deal with. Like the only shot of his fiancee that we'll see, we actually get to see what she really looks like.
There was a very important phone message that came to you. It sounded quite urgent. I've been looking everywhere. It was from a man called Kurt. He called from the country place, and he said something terrible had happened. He wanted you to come right out.
Thank you.
Fairly attractive. Well, since she's heard all this, he's decided he'll take her with him so that she can see what it is that keeps him away from her before their wedding. When they have due to his impatience, let's say, we get a very low budget car crash.
I'm not dead.
Not bad. Not bad, considering the budget. He got out okay, so I'm sure Jan's fine. Oh. Okay, maybe not. But maybe he can save her.
Is only mostly dead.
Okay, or part of her. Anyways, we get a long sequence of him running what seems to be some wood area and yards that are about the length of several football fields each. But he finally makes it to the country place. it's their country place. Yeah, they must have buku bucks. Anyway, he goes in where he meets his assistant Kurt, who's it's his left arm. It's kind of withered and kind of crippled-ished up, and he reveals he's got her head. And using his new serum and a montage sequence, he saves her. And do you think she is grateful for this?
Let me die. Let me die.
Nope. She's about as ungrateful as I'm sure that guy he paralyzed at the beginning of the movie is. Ungrateful. Anyways, with his new serum, he's pretty sure he can reattach her head to another body and she'll be fine. But before he can go out to look, Kurt, who had caught him in a panic, wants him to take a look at his other experiment. And, well, it's developed some changes. Boy, that must be really something. I can't wait for the reveal on that. I bet it is horrifying. But Bill's got no time to deal with that. He's got a new body to scrounge up, and Kurt asks the obvious question.
How will you do it?
There are ways. There are ways.
Yeah. He's probably going to go to morgue and bribe some guy for some woman who's died in an accident, but the body's still intact, or something like that. Or he could just head for the nearest strip club. Well, while that's going on, Jan wakes up and finds that that new serum has had an unexpected benefit.
Keeping me alive has given me a power he didn't count on. Power that you can feel across this room and through that door. Can't you?
Yep. She has developed a kind of psychic link to whatever's in the closet. Well, he answers her by knocking, and so all this knocking brings Kurt down, where we find out what exactly is in that closet.
Before he injected the serum into that, it was but a mass of grafted tissues, lifeless. Just lay there, weighted down with its transplants of broken limbs and amputated arms. But with this serum, it began to breathe.
Holy jumble!
Oh, he's one of them Frankensteinian types. Anyways, we also learned that Kurt was a surgeon, but he lost his arm in an accident, and he's been one of Bill's early experiment subjects, as he puts an arm on, doesn't take, puts another arm on with a new part of the serum, doesn't take, and that's why his latest arm is all shriveled up. And he also reveals what exactly Bill's planning for her, which makes her realize he's going to kill someone to supply her with a body. She doesn't like that. Oh, as for Bill, well, he makes his first attempt at getting a involuntary subject, but when he's ready to make his move on her backstage in her dressing room, the person she shares the dressing room comes in, and so he's forced to leave. But that's okay. He's still got time. So the next morning, he just happens to spy an old friend, and he talks her into, she's going to a Body Beautiful contest, and he'll join her. But first, they have to go to his place. He's got to pick up something.
Hey, Donna, where are you going? What's the hurry?
Hi, Jeannie. We're going to look for some bodies.
You mean the contest?
Yeah.
Got any room for me?
Oh, sure.
Blocked again. I tell ya. This guy cannot catch a break. So, they go to the Body Beautiful, where he oogles a bunch of women in swimsuits. But he does get some useful information.
You remember that one in school years ago? The one who had the accident?
Oh, yeah. Doris
Powell.
Yeah, she's still around?
Few people see her nowadays. She just stays in her studio posing for art classes and camera bugs.
A woman with a great figure and a scarred face from an accident. Shut in. I think we have a winner. So he goes to her address he gets from Donna, and we get to see a little bit of this art class she demonstrates for.
You're not rugged, it's true.
Yeah, that looked like Uncle Fester there in the sunglasses. Anyways, after the class, Bill reacquaints himself with her, and we get to see this horrible scarring that she suffers from.
I carry the memory around with me.
That's not that bad. Her boyfriend did it with a knife, and she's never been able to get it fixed because he cut too deep. But Bill lets her know, that was years ago. We've made many strides in plastic surgery. In fact, his father is one of the preeminent plastic surgeons in the country. Why, if she came out to him to the country estate, where his father's staying for the weekend, he's sure he can convince his father to look at her case, and if she doesn't have any money, his father's the kind of guy that'll take on a case pro bono like this. Liar! Well, she goes to call her girlfriend, but he convinces her, better wait until we actually get the actual prognosis. I mean, it might not be curable. You're right. So she writes a note, gives it to Bill to put on the table while she changes, at which point he pockets that note and puts a blank piece of paper there. And then they start heading for the country estate. While that's happening, Jan puts her revenge plan into action.
Get him!
Needless to say, the thing in the closet rips his good arm off. And then he wanders around at a death scene to rival Pee Wee Herman's and Buffy the Vampire Slayer as he wanders around the lab. He wanders upstairs. He wanders downstairs before finally collapsing with this god-awful bloody mess of a stump. Well, Bill and Doris arrive, and he gets her comfortable. His father's not there, but he'll be back any moment. He'll go fix them a drink. Whereupon he goes downstairs and finds his dead lab assistant. And he looks at Jan, and she just... Well, he's got no time for that, so he quickly makes a couple of drinks with a special additive.
Something in my drink. Didn't you?
Holy heartbreak.
Thereby proving her distrust of men to be good. Unfortunately, she ignored it at the worst time. Well, he takes her down to the lab where he gets her ready for the transplant. At which point, Jan just does nothing but protest this. And because he needs quiet for his operation, he tapes her mouth shut. Sorry. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get to the big climax, and we get to see what this monster looks like. I don't know if it's the scariest thing, but it's not bad makeup. Well, it's not. Well, okay, except for that part in the back where you can see where it was tied on. Anyway, he kills Bill by biting a huge piece out of his neck. This is a surprisingly gory film for considering it was made in '59. Even by 1962 standard, that's a little much. After all, it was, what, another year before Blood Feast came out? Anyways, let's go to the happy ending.
And there was much rejoicing.
Hey, the monster got the girl. Yeah, the fight caused a bunch of beakers to go over, which started a fire, and so even Jan gives what she wants, to not be a disembodied head or put on someone else's body. So, kudos. Yeah, I like this film. It is silly, plays straight with its premise. As I said before, fairly gory for the time period. And some good acting in it, especially from the leads. I especially enjoy Jason Evers in this. He really sells the whole self-centered jerk who thinks he's better than everybody and is not about to let anyone or anything stand in his way. And even though he says he loves Jan, he's still going to do what he wants with her. Bit of a misogynist. And the film has a bit of a sleazy feel to it. We see him oogling strippers and... oh! What'd you do? Ugh. Well, he hit something on the keyboard. Find out what it is later. Anyway, oogling the women at the bikini show or swimsuit show, and he also, well, knock everything over, and he's also oogling Doris while she's posing for pictures when he walks in. So yeah, a little even ultra sleazy for the time. As I said, I enjoy Evers' performance. Leigh's performance isn't too bad, although she's mostly stuck with her head wrapped and her voice kind of raspy. But yeah, pretty good performance. You don't get to see much of her in the beginning before she becomes a head, so there's not a lot of change between her post-accident character and her first accident character, who's just kind of a bland, sweet girl type thing. But then as, her bodiless head progresses through the film, she becomes a little more ruthless than even her fiance. And Le Penne is pretty good. It's got that great voice that I'm sure if you've heard in some of the scenes I showed, you've got to have recognized that in some of an Italian horror or B-westerns or spaghetti westerns that came over from the 60s, because his voice is just very distinctive. And fairly decent plot. A little ridiculous. Well, a lot ridiculous. But as disembodied heads movies go, I still prefer 66's The Frozen Dead. We might get to that someday, but anyways, back to this one. Yeah, I mean, this was roasted rightfully on Mystery Science Theater because there's just so much bizarreness in this film. And the main character is so unlikable. Which is kind of par for the course for a lot of 50s, 60s mad scientists. They didn't have that sympathetic thing like Colin Clive had in Frankenstein or Bela Lugosi had in Voodoo Man and Invisible Ghost. And in The Black Cat. Well, anyways, Lugosi played a lot of sympathetic mad scientists and a lot of mad scientists like this one, if you've ever seen The Corpse Vanishes or The Ape Man. But yeah, all in all, a fun little film. Now, there are different cuts, because there's the TV cut where they take out all the gore and a lot of the strip club scenes. And then there's the full cut where you get to see the strip club. No nudity, but it is pretty sleazy. And they cut out all the blood because it does get gory. Let me tell you. Anyways, yeah. Fun film, but not great, not awful. One of those so bad it's actually kind of good. Please hit like, share, subscribe, and stay after the credits for my favorite scene.
Must be stopped. You must.
And who's going to do it? It's got to be quiet here.
Can't stop me.
Very well.